Good morning to our global audience. We begin this broadcast with a critical development emerging from the highest levels of the United States Military Command. We have just concluded a comprehensive operational update with Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of Central Command, overseeing forces across the entire CENTCOM area of operation. The assessment is clear. Our leadership and our troops are executing their duties with the precision and discipline you would expect during such a historic mobilization. Precisely 2 days ago, acting under the specific direction and direct orders of President Donald J. Trump, the Department of War initiated Operation Epic Fury. Defense analysts are already describing this campaign as the most lethal, the most complex, and the most precise aerial operation in recorded history. To understand the magnitude of this moment, one must look back at the historical context. For 47 long years, the expansionist and Islamist regime in Tehran has waged what can only be described as a savage, one-sided war against the United States. While they did not always declare these hostilities openly, save for their constant and rhythmic chants of death to America, they executed this war through the blood of our citizens. We recall the devastating car bombs in Beirut, the relentless rocket attacks on our naval vessels, the targeted murders at our embassies, and the roadside bombs that plagued Iraq and Afghanistan. These acts were funded and armed by the Iranian Quds Force and the ruthless operatives of the IRGC. For my generation of veterans, this is not abstract history. We carry the names of brothers who never came home, brothers who were butchered by Iranian-backed roadside bombs and well-armed militias. We are talking about thousands of our own. The United States maintains that we did not start this war, but under the leadership of President Trump, the objective is to finally finish it. Their war on Americans has now transformed into our retribution against the Ayatollah and his radical faction. It took the 47th president, a leader who prioritizes American interests above all, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. He has reminded the world, as he has time and time again, that being an American means something unbreakable. The doctrine is simple. If you kill Americans, or if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will eliminate the threat. President Trump has also been remarkably consistent regarding global security standards. Erratic regimes like Iran, which are hell-bent on prophetic Islamist delusion, cannot be permitted to possess nuclear weapons. It is a matter of common sense. While many leaders have articulated this sentiment, it takes genuine resolve to actually enforce it, and this president possesses that resolve. The assessment was that Iran's stubborn and self-evident nuclear pursuit, their targeting of global shipping lanes, and their swelling arsenal of ballistic missiles and killer drones were no longer tolerable risks. Intelligence indicated that Iran was building powerful missiles and drones to create a conventional shield for their nuclear blackmail ambition. Let me repeat that for clarity. They were constructing a conventional shield to protect their nuclear blackmail ambition. This placed our bases, our people, and our allies directly in their crosshairs. Essentially, Iran held a conventional weapon to our head as they tried to deceive their way to a nuclear bomb. While this strategy nearly succeeded under the previous administration and the deal struck during the Obama era, it has failed under this president. It turns out that the regime which chanted death to America and death to Israel was, in a twist of fate, gifted death from America and death from Israel. This operation is not characterized as a so-called regime change war, yet the reality on the ground suggests the regime has indeed changed, and the assessment is that the world is safer for it. Today, in their desperation, the enemy is fully unmasked. We are seeing Iranian missiles and drones raining down indiscriminately on hotels, airports, apartments, and other civilian targets of their neighbors. These are cowardly tactics from a regime that for decades has trafficked asymmetric violence, lies, death, and destruction. To this day, the Iranian leadership has built nothing of substance for its people, investing instead in proxies, missiles, drones, and deeply buried nuclear factories and facilities. There is a fundamental truth here. Peaceful nuclear ambitions do not need to be buried underneath mountains. This context brings us back to last June, when Operation Midnight Hammer obliterated their nuclear program to rubble. Afterward, the message was plain. We told them, that is it, now make a deal. Instead, they arrogantly refused. We warned them, saying, rebuild it, and we will stop you again, only this time it will be far worse. It is important to note the diplomatic efforts that preceded this. President Trump, Secretary Rubio, Steve Witkoff, and Jared Kushner bent over backwards to facilitate real diplomacy, offering pathway after pathway to peace. I witnessed this personally. I was there. They tried over and over and over again, with earnest attempts at peace. The former regime had every chance to make a peaceful and sensible deal. However, Tehran was not negotiating in good faith. They were stalling, buying time to reload their missile stockpiles and restart their nuclear ambitions. Their goal was to hold us hostage, threatening to strike our forces. But President Trump does not play those games. As Secretary Rubio stated following the Maduro raid, "If you do not know, now you know." President Trump puts America and Americans first. He does not hesitate, and neither do our troops. The mission of Operation Epic Fury is laser-focused. The objectives are to destroy Iranian offensive missiles, destroy Iranian missile production capabilities, destroy their navy and other security infrastructure, and ensure they will never have nuclear weapons. We are hitting them surgically, overwhelmingly, and unapologetically. As the operational tempo accelerates, the strategic assessment indicates a widening gap in combat effectiveness. With every passing day, American military capabilities are solidifying, while the Iranian infrastructure is systematically degraded. We are unequivocally setting the terms of this engagement from the opening salvo to the final objective. It is crucial to understand that the ambitions here are not rooted in utopian ideals of reshaping a society, but are strictly realistic, narrowly scoped to vital national interests and the absolute defense of our citizens and regional allies. Regarding the civilian populace, there is a distinct hope that the Iranian people will seize this incredible opportunity for change. President Trump has been explicit in his messaging. Now is your moment. This warning extends directly to the Iranian security forces, who must choose their path wisely, as the administration has been clear about the consequences of their alignment. To the various media outlets and political critics who are raising alarms about endless wars, the administration offers a sharp rebuttal. This is not a repetition of Iraq. This is not an open-ended campaign. Having witnessed both eras, the leadership asserts that our generation has learned the hard lessons of the past. The president has characterized the last 20 years of nation-building conflict as a strategic error, and his assessment is that this operation is the antithesis of those prior engagements. This mission is defined by clarity and devastation. The objectives are to destroy the missile threat, dismantle the navy, and ensure zero nuclear capacity. In this theater, Israel is recognized as having clear missions as well, for which the United States expresses gratitude. The doctrine remains that capable partners are valuable partners. This stands in stark contrast to many traditional allies who have been characterized as hand-wringing and hesitant regarding the necessary use of force. Regardless of the commentary from so-called international institutions, America is currently unleashing the most lethal and precise air power campaign in recorded history. This includes the deployment of B-2 Spirit bombers, advanced fighter squadrons, unmanned systems, missiles, and significantly classified effects that remain undisclosed. This campaign is being conducted entirely on American terms with maximum operational authorities. There are no restrictive or counterproductive rules of engagement, no quagmire of nation building, no exercises in imposing democracy, and no adherence to politically correct warfare. The objective is to fight to win, without wasting time or lives. However, as the president has soberly warned, an effort of this immense scope will inevitably include casualties. The reality is that war is severe, and always will be. A grateful nation honors the 4 Americans we have lost thus far, as well as those who have been injured. They represent the absolute best of America. The commitment is to prosecute the remainder of this operation in a manner that truly honors their sacrifice. There are no apologies and no hesitation. This is epic fury executed for them, and for the thousands of Americans before them who were taken too soon by Iranian radicals. Before transitioning to the operational update from General Kane, I must speak directly to the Joint Force, our warriors currently on the front line. This is your moment. This represents the generational turning point that America has waited for since 1979, and since the rudderless wars of hubris that our generation endured. The directive is to ignore the external noise and stay focused. The commander-in-chief is steady at the wheel. While we face a determined enemy, you are superior, but that superiority must be proven every single day. History remains indifferent to fatigue or fear. It demands warriors who rise regardless of the odds. Peace through strength, the warrior ethos, lethality, and unity of purpose are not mere slogans. They are the beating heart of what it means to wear the uniform. You are trained to think clearly under fire, to act decisively in chaos, to uphold the Constitution, and to defend our country without hesitation. The mindset has shifted. We are no longer passive defenders. We are warriors trained to neutralize the enemy and break their will. History is watching. Be the force you swore an oath to be: focused, disciplined, lethal, and unbreakable. We will finish this on America First. Conditions of President President Trump's choosing, and nobody else's, as it rightfully should be. Know this above all, that the leadership stands behind you always, through the fire, through the criticism, and through the media narratives. We unleash you because you are the best, most powerful, and most lethal fighting force the world has ever seen. May Almighty God watch over you, and may His providential arms of protection extend over you. Godspeed, warriors, and keep going. I will now hand over to General Kane. Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and good morning everyone. The purpose of my portion of the briefing today is to provide a granular update to you and the American people on the specific actions taken thus far. This briefing will analyze the preparation, the planning phases, the setting of the force, the early operations, and how we are assessing the progress at this stage. So let us begin with the timeline. On Saturday, the 28th of February, at 01:15 Eastern Standard Time, which corresponds to 9:45 a.m. local Tehran time, acting on the orders of the President of the United States, U.S. Central Command, under the leadership of United States Navy Admiral Brad Cooper, commenced Operation Epic Fury. As stated, I will walk you through the initial phases of the operation. But first, I must express my deep condolences and the condolences of the entire Joint Force to the families of the Department of War personnel killed and wounded in action thus far. As the Secretary mentioned, they are heroes and represent the very best our nation has to offer. They are the true examples of what selfless service means. Our deepest and heartfelt condolences go out to their families, their friends, and their unit. We grieve with you, and we will never forget you. Additionally, I stand here before you today grateful for each service member, planner, logistician, and operator across our joint force. This gratitude extends to our Department of War civilians, our teammates in the intelligence community, and our interagency partners who continue to stand in harm's way alongside us. I am proud of all of you as you take the fight to the enemy. We are, without question, the best in the world at integrating these complex domains. Period. I want to extend my personal gratitude to the dedicated commanders, the senior enlisted leaders, and the enlisted members of the Joint Force who are fighting this fight across the CENTCOM area of operations.